right, so we are live with another edition of We Got the Books with the Amazing Corner. And no, you are not looking at Amber Ivy, the author of AI Meets AI. Unfortunately, she had a little schedule confusion and she's not here with us today, but the show must go on. So I literally was sitting at my desk with 20 minutes before noon trying to figure out what can we share about books today? And I thought about my sister, who is one of my biggest advocates. She's definitely always there for me. So thank you, Crystal Dixon.
Welcome.
Now, my baby sister, you may have seen her at my health fairs, at my book events. I am one of those people who I'm grateful to say I don't have a testimony that my family is not there for me. My family is always there for me. I'm getting a little emotional. Um, as then right now, I just literally said, "Do you look decent? Can you jump on this Zoom with me?" And here she is. So thank you, Crystal Dixon.
You're
Crystal
welcome.
Dixon, tell them a little bit about yourself as a person, as a mother, as a supporter of the Amazing Corner.
Okay, yes, my name is Crystal Dixon. I am a work from home mom. I have three children, ages 14, 10, and 4. We are very much the amazing family. Um, we are all things amazing family. I probably have just about all the books, all the apparel, the
Yes,
bookmarks, the coloring books.
yeah,
We are the Amazing Family Enterprises.
I love it. Yes, she is, right? And I don't force her. I definitely tap her in. She started as one of my unofficial focus group members. I run so many things past Crystal, so I guess we can give Crystal a lot of credit for a lot of the
Thank
finished
you.
products. I do also have another sister, Lena, who I'm sure you'll see soon, and she's also almost always a part of all my projects. So, Crystal, you had three kids you shared, ranging 14 through 4. Did I get it right?
4, yes.
Okay. Have you always read to all of your kids?
If I'm 100% honest, no.
Hmm.
So I think my baby girl, she took such a liking to books more. Sadir and Gianna both. They took a big liking to books. But Sadir was a kid that just got it
Hmm.
from birth to now 14. He just gets it. He'll pick up a book. He's always been able to easily read and understand a. So a lot of his early book um exposure was him himself.
Okay.
And obviously, I will be amazing, sit beside him and, let him read me a book, but I feel like he exposed himself early.
That's pretty cool.
And this is the 23-year-old mom. But then by the time I had Gianna, he took such a liking to books. But I feel like we were all in with her. She loves books. We have in the pocket of our car filled with books and coloring books. So her first few years of life, that's what she kind of did on her pastime, and we all just took a engaged in her with these books.
Okay, I think that's good. And I think that's two different because there's different versions of parenting, right? Depending on your age or setting, the things that are going on in your life. So what would you say to the early 20s mom right now who is not sharing books with their kids? What is some word of encouragement or advice or consider this?
Yeah, so I definitely think your child loses out if you don't expose them to books early. It definitely helps with their production as they grow older, and their maturity, their vocabulary,
Yeah.
because just how we were just saying, words that Sadir use, it almost blows our minds. Like,
Yeah.
what do you know about that word? And
Right.
even my 4-year-old uses words like, how did you? She awes us often
Yeah.
on her vocabulary. I think that has a lot to do with how they speak to you.
That's funny.
Um,
So
the,
hold on, I want to say something because you always tease me about some words. You're like, what you using it for? And not that you're
mhm.
surprised about me using the word, but you don't say like, why did I have to use that word? Why couldn't I use
Yeah,
a simpler
yeah.
word? But it's making me think back. I've always been a reader, so sometimes I don't know why I'm using it.
hmm
It just flows. So that makes sense.
I'll Google word like you could have just said this, but I learned a new word that day.
Yeah. So all right. So that's one of our tips we'll share with the young mom. Like introduces books to kids early, introduces them to a broader vocabulary,
Mhm.
more awareness, more education that they don't even realize they're getting. So that's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
So let's just back up to some more fun questions. So
All
I'll
right.
a few fun questions for you. All right. If you had to pick one children's book character to come babysit for a day, who would it be and why? So now I'm
Oh,
jogging your memory.
if I had to choose one children's book character
And it
to
doesn't have to be
babysit,
something from the Amazing Corner catalog. It could be old.
dang. Um, I would say Cat in the Hat. I feel
Wow.
like Cat in the Hat was good. They, I feel like, I feel like Cat in the Hat.
All right, and I'm thinking that too, because so I'm thinking Dr. Seuss. So one of my favorite children's books is "Oh the Places You Will Go." If you haven't
Mm-hmm.
read that book, read it. It is an amazing book. I think it's way surpassed like kids. I think it's for adults. I think it's for college students. It is a very prolifically written book, and I know there's controversy about Dr. Seuss and possible racism and stuff in his illustrations and in his books. I don't receive that. I don't know it. The man is gone. He was an excellent writer. Um, but I think his characters would be great babysitters because they'd be fun, there'll be adventure, there'll be
Yeah.
education, there'll be exploration. So our house might be tore up when we get back.
Oh yeah, that G is
The
on that
kids
right
gonna have
now.
some experiences. So that's a good
Hmm.
one. That's a good one. All right. What is some of the excuses, and you may not have any, does your kids ever make up excuses not to read? And this could be for your 4-year-old or your 14-year-old or the middle.
Yeah. Sometimes we are so tied up in life. And I think even, for me, my son should be reading 30 minutes a day. But by the time he gets off the bus, we got to get ready for football. After football, he got to come home and do homework and then eat dinner, then go to bed. So sometimes we just don't have the time.
Time is a big thing.
Yeah. But when after the day ends and I'm sitting back, like, he could have read 15 minutes before he got on the bus this morning and 15 minutes on the way to practice.
Yeah.
So, but when you're in the midst of life,
Hmm.
you're not thinking about them things. So I think for certain it's, time and all the other things that they have going on.
Yeah. And I would say, so one of the things I learned just this weekend, I participated in the Latin book fair. I met Maria from Sesame Street, which I was super excited to meet.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things she said, because she said her teacher told her to tell her mom, you need to read more. So of course that's what all teachers are saying. That's what all authors are saying. But when she went back and told her mom said, I don't have time and we don't have books. And
Mm-hmm.
what the teacher said back was tell stories. So maybe that's something y'all can do
Oh,
in the car in your travels,
mm-hmm.
tell stories. And I thought that was amazing because then she talked
Yeah.
about some of the experiences and revelation and connection she made with her mom through telling stories. And that's how Che and I book started,
Mm-hmm.
telling stories. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that helps. All right. Is there one book that all three of your kids have read or been introduced to?
The Amazing Warhead. The Amazing Warhead for Adventure. Every last one of them have read and been exposed to.
Oh, we love it. We love it. So shout out to us.
Yes.
So that's an incentive for any inspiring writers and authors. There's something you could just have in your family that creates a legacy. So thank you, Crystal. So when Che was a kid, there were two
Mhm.
books, or there was a book and an author that I would dread reading to him. So one of them was Wheels on a Bus because it was, too many times in our book. There was a version I didn't even know. There was the bus did
Mhm.
so many things. I used to drive me crazy reading that book at night. And then also the Dr. Seuss books. As much as I am a Dr. Seuss fan, his books are long. So, like you said, Crystal, after a long day, if he picked that book, I would be like, oh my God. So we would let him pick his book. So what I would have to do is read parts of the book.
Mhm.
So is there a book that Gianna picks up now that you'd be like, not again, not tonight?
Um, Geez, she has this book and I can't think of the name of it. It's literally it's one of those hardcover books.
Mhm.
But sometimes we make up our own story, you know. It's just to get through the pages. And it's funny that I'm saying this because I'll get mad at her dad if he doesn't read that book to her, you
That's
know,
my favorite
front
book.
front to back. Like, and
Oh
I'll
my
be
God.
like thinking like, I know you ain't read it that fast. But sometimes we have to just get through. And
Yeah.
so we're just
Because
making
you
up the
don't want to
story as we
turn
go.
down, right? You don't want to turn them away
Hmm.
from it, but some days you just
Hmm.
don't have it, and that's just real life. All right. Do you guys have an ideal reading setting? So for Che, most often it was in the bed before bedtime, but sometimes like on snow days or on the weekends, we would make forts and tents and get flashlights and get in sleeping bags. Do you guys have any fun reading settings?
So we have done the same things, but literally we just read wherever we are.
Hmm.
So if Gianna want to read that book on her way to bed, we'll read the book in the bed. If she wants to play in her bedroom in her tent that day, we read the book in the tent. So pretty much wherever we are. If we're in the car and she want to read that book, we're reading the book. So
Yeah.
wherever we are.
Yep. So we got to just be flexible, right? And be excited that they are reading. Do you think you have any future authors and illustrators in the family?
I haven't heard them say so.
All right. So what do you
I
see
think
for your
they're
kiddo?
very inspired by Che reading a book or writing a book, but I haven't really heard them call it, you know, their own thing, like they wanted to do for themselves.
What do you see for your three babies?
Mm. Well, obviously, Sidir is an engineer. He said he's going to be an engineer. Raheem thinks, or his desire is to go to the professional football. So that's that for him. And I haven't figured out Gia's
Hmm.
thing yet.
She's very much super girly. So if y'all don't know, Gianna is one of our featured characters in the upcoming book, Amazing Me, which is part of our Dream Builder series. And she is definitely the inspiration behind her character. She's super girly, super adventurous, super fun and excited. She likes all things creative and imaginative and pocketbooks and accessories. So I can't wait to introduce you guys to her. Go ahead, Chris.
He does have an obsession with boo-boos. So she may be a doctor.
I love it. I love
He
it.
has
That is
this thing
true.
about a boo-boo. Remember when you got your incision?
Yeah,
Some people would be grossed out at 2 or 3, however old she was, but she wanted to see it. And
I
she
love
is intrigued by everybody's boo-boo.
I would love it. We need the first time family. Let's go, Gianna. All right. I feel like I can't ask you this question because I feel like you're gonna say my book.
What's my favorite book?
Or what series would you pass down through a legacy? And that's cheating. We ain't saying unless you got another answer. You got another
No,
answer.
tell me. What's the question?
If you could pick one book series to pass down through the generations, what would it be?
Oh, hmm.
And guys, remember I'm putting Chris on the spot, right? She
Oh,
came in clutch for me in the last 10 minutes.
you know what? I feel like my boys also like that Dog Man
Yeah, that's a dope.
series.
That's
They
dope.
like that.
And I like that one because there's so many variations, there's so many copies. So now there's more reading, more exposure, more adventure.
And when I was a kid, we did Goosebumps.
Okay, and I always
Um,
goosebumps.
yeah, that was a book that we had that had a lot of series as well.
I remember what is that, Amelia Bedelia's books I used
Hmm.
to read.
And it was like Babysitter's Club had
That's
a
the one I was thinking
series.
of. Yeah, I read a
Hmm.
lot of Babysitters Club. All righty. So you're one of my biggest advocates. So this is a hot seat question. Is it simply just family over everything, or do you really believe in my books and options? And be honest.
Both. Both. So I'll be 100% transparent and say so my son came home with a Scholastic Book Fair catalog and I almost didn't want to buy anything. Like, your aunt is the book fair. Like,
Amen.
we're not buying from Scholastic. So I
And
definitely think
Scholastic turned your eye down. So
I definitely think it's both. I'm definitely Amazing Family Enterprises, 100% family over everything. And I also believe in real products.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I won't cry. All righty. So reading is important, not just for kids, it's for adults. And you know, I nudge you every now and then and say, you should read this, or why aren't you
Hmm.
reading? What things stand in the way of reading as an adult? And I'm sure there's plenty adults that can relate.
These kids.
Them
Just
babies, right? They become a priority.
these babies, yeah. And and honestly, social media for
The
me,
distractions. Thank you.
work, so that balance. And then by the time you make it to bed, it's like you're exhausted.
Mhm.
And then you would think that's your downtime when all the kids went to bed, but you going to bed too.
Yeah,
So I would say those things
and
wrapped
for
up in our
me, I am
kids.
a reader, but I'm not sorry to cut you off. I'm not a constant reader. Um,
Hmm.
I often like to say that because many people think because I'm a writer, I have books, I'm pushing books that I'm reading all the time, and that's not true. I do try to read all the time because I think there is so many benefits, but I read more consistently on vacations and when I'm on assignment. And that means if I have a goal, whether it's a spiritual goal, a business goal, a personal growth goal, that's an assignment for me and
Hmm.
read in with intention. So
Hmm.
that's some of the ways I read. But on a day to day,
Yeah.
again, life gets distracted and busy and
Hmm.
happens. You had something else? I feel like you
Nope.
had.
Likely, likely.
Okay. All righty. So I feel like everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something that someone else needs. So if you could write a book, what would the title be and what would it be about?
Honestly, if I could have wrote a book, I would write a book about motherhood and nursing. I feel like I bonded with my children through our nursing journey, or with every one of them. So I would write a book about, the way I bonded with my children through nursing.
I think that's a very good book. I think you
Yeah,
should.
thanks.
I ain't gonna bother you because you know I'll be like
Just don't.
coming up how you can make it happen, but I'm not because I'm hot seat question. So thank you so much for jumping in with me, being just like I said, a champion, a supporter, a gap filler. Share something that you've learned through Gianna's love of reading and how it's benefited for her, why you would encourage other parents to introduce their kids to more books.
Um, that's a few questions. What I've learned through Gianna's benefit of reading. Again, her vocabulary, her exposure. We often say, and I always say, I'm not saying it's just because she's my daughter, but she's super smart.
Mhm.
And I do credit that to us exposing her to books at a young age. What was the second question?
And why is reading important? I guess we said.
Um, Why is reading important? Because it promotes development, promotes their growth. And like I said, I really think your child lose out when you don't read to them. Because it's easy, it's simple, and sometimes even if you're not, like I said, reading the book from front to back, you read through pictures and it creates imagination for them. Um, so yeah.
I love it.
I think your child lose out big when you don't expose them to books early.
Okay, and that did remind me of something else we would do, and it's another parenting hack for reading those long books. Sometimes I will open a book and make Shay tell me the story based on
Mm-hmm.
the picture. So if your kid's
Mm-hmm.
not reading yet, or you just are like me, some nights you didn't got time or the energy,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to turn that baby down that loves
Yep.
books, just let them tell you the story.
Yep.
All right. So as we close, Crystal, you are a single mom,
Eesh.
busy mom, but you do motherhood very well.
Thank
So what are
you.
some encouraging words you would tell to another single mom? And it does not have to be about books.
Um, I feel like what I would say the sacrifice, I mean, the prize is always greater than the sacrifice.
I love it.
Because while they keep me busy, they keep me on my toes, is very rewarding. So I don't think I would change a thing. It's very rewarding, and the reward is very greater than the sacrifice.
I love it. So, single moms, what you do matters. So, thank
Yes.
you, Crystal Dixon, for joining. We've got the
You're
book in
welcome.
on our book fair. I promise you guys that every weekday at noon through the month of October, I was going to bring you some new books or something about reading. So, this was an audible, but I pray you still enjoyed it. I Pray that you still found some worth in today's visit. Share this Zoom with someone who you think it will encourage. Thank you, Crystal, for being here, and we are out.
Thank you.